What's up? It's the bad boy Alex. Yeah. Call 8100 Bad Boy Effect. That's 8100 Bad Boy Effect. Today's YouTube video is a special YouTube video. I got 2 days off from work. Got some job interviews coming up. Got some phone interviews coming up. I ain't landing nowhere yet on a job yet because I got word from my boy, Dr. Zachary, that as long as my current job continues to keep trying to prolong and postpone the inevitable, then it's going to be hard. So I got to wait until June 29th for them to hurry up and finish selling product so I can be free and like Kevin Durant and like Kawhi Leonard so I can be a free agent. That's a sports joke. Anyway, today's YouTube video is going to be sex game, self-improvement versus, should I say self-improvement versus being rich part 2. And I might actually change up the title and put sex game, self-improvement versus fame / black men will never live up to Nipsey Hussle. Now you might say, why would I just throw his name into this video? It's not to make no money off his name. That's not what this video is about. This video is to explain that we have a problem. And I'm about to explain to you what this problem is. You see, when Nipsey Hussle got gunned down and got shot and killed in cold blood, we didn't just lose a native of Los Angeles. You lost somebody that was going to take a concept idea and prove to someone like my dad that a young black man in his 20s or 30s could create black-owned businesses. And he lost his life in trying to accomplish that goal. Now, what I've noticed is that a lot of black women, they just love them some Nipsey Hussle. They love them some gangster loving. And you see, the problem that I see with that is, it was already bad enough when we lost Tupac Shakur and Notorious B.I.G. And I'm afraid for the next 10 to 15 years, black women are going to make it to where if you ain't Nipsey Hussle, if you ain't Tupac, you ain't getting none of that ass. And you see, this is why you always hear me act like an asshole in this video. I'm a real asshole. I'm a real realist. That's why you always hear me say in the video that a lot of women just watch too much television, too many Hollywood films, too much social media, and way too much rap music. I mean, they watch way too much of it. If you think that me watching professional wrestling and Ninja Turtles and Dragon Ball Z is a problem, that is an understatement. Because unlike them, I know that Dragon Ball Z is not real. The martial arts is real. The concept of good versus evil is real. But as far as turning Super Saiyan and powering up energy blasts from your hands and trying to fly, that's not real. It'd be nice if it was, but it's not. They'll throw you in the insane asylum for actually thinking that. You know, put you in the straitjacket and throw away the key, and you probably won't see the light of day for 30 years if you think like that. The point is, when you hear me say that, it's for a reason. Because I work at a high-class area called The Grove. And I see all types of stuff at The Grove. Stuff that would make an average man lose his mind if he saw too much behind the scenes. And you see, this place has a powerful effect on the mind of men and women. Everyone is obsessed of trying to become rich and famous. You know, they want to be with the celebrities. You know, they want to be center stage. They want to see somebody famous. And they don't care what they have to do, the extreme measures that they will put themselves through for that type of attention. I'll give you a good example. About a week and a half ago, at a store that's currently going out of business, I can't tell you the name of the store because I'm still currently employed. Because if any of these managers or supervisors go on YouTube and they ever run across this video, I can get into a lot of trouble. I can get into a lot of shit because I'm still currently employed. June 19th is supposed to be the final date, and they intentionally on purpose changed it to the 29th of June. Intentionally on purpose. So I can't just name the name of the store because I'll get in trouble. You might say, if they're going out of business, why can't say the name? Because I'm still employed. And when you still have a week or 2 weeks left of this nightmare, because that's what I'm going to call it, it's a nightmare. If I had Tarnal's Infinity Gauntlet, I would just end the nightmare already. But the point is, I'm still currently employed, and if they see this, I can get in trouble. It could hurt me and affect me moving forward for other jobs. And then other jobs will think, oh, so you like to make videos about your employers because you don't like what they be doing. So that can hurt me tremendously. So I can't name it until they're finally out of business. Until that date arrives, you can never know the name of that store. All you need to know, it's in the Grove. Now, the point I'm trying to make is, this lady works as a traffic person. You know, her job is to make sure the cars don't stop traffic, make sure no one gets hit by a car, make sure there's no one jaywalking, making sure no one is stopping or blocking traffic. That's her job. And she wanted to run across the street and run to the same clothing store that I work at. You know, I was told to close at a certain time, and she tried 2 times and almost risked getting hit by a car. To me, if you're trying to buy the most stylish clothes, and I'm going to make a video about that, don't worry, I'm going to make a part 1 about men trying to use clothes to get women's attention, and then I guess I'll make a part 2 on women trying to use clothes to get people's attention. But this video is to talk about the fame. When you hear them make songs and they say fame is one hell of a drug, it is. Everybody wants attention. Everybody wants to be rich and famous. Now, I made part 1. In part 1, I talked about self-improvement wins out against being rich and famous. See, it's not men that are obsessed of being rich and famous. You'll be surprised and shocked that 80% of men can actually survive in the world if they're not rich and famous. That isn't the problem. The problem is you're being rejected by beautiful, attractive women. You get a lot of these women that slut themselves out, turn themselves into whores, sluts, skanks, dots, hoes, for men that they find physically, sexually attractive. It has actually been proven by math and science that a woman will slut herself out for professional basketball players, football players, baseball players, soccer players, tennis players, professional wrestlers, professional boxers. They'll slut themselves out for athletes that are rich and famous. They will slut themselves out for the rock star, the R&B singer, the gangster rapper. If you're an actor in television and film, if you're a film director, about 85 to 90% of the time, a woman will slut herself out for men that are rich and famous. Or as Big Boss Cow 93 loves to put it, money, looks, and status. And women will slut themselves out for men that are rich and famous. And women are hypergamous. I already made a YouTube video about that. I told you there's 4 levels of hypergamous. Now, in those 4 levels, at any one of those current levels, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4, a woman, doesn't matter if she's black, doesn't matter if it's black women, white women, Mexican women, because a lot of you guys be saying, oh, that's just black women. No. I've seen it. I've seen black women be hypergamous. I've seen some white women, some Latino women, and to a certain extent, Indian women and Asian women have become hypergamous to a certain extent. I've seen it. with these two eyes. Well, not with these two eyes, but with these sunglasses. My point is, I've seen it with every race. And about 85 to 90% of the time, they come to the Grove to see men that are rich and famous. Men that have money, looks, and status. They go after the multi-billionaires, the millionaires. They go after the professional athletes of our respectable sports. If John Cena comes up in that bitch, he's going to get 85 to 90% of the attention. And if you work at a candy store or if you're a boring, lame-ass security guard, you're not getting no attention from the bitches and the hoes. I'm going to tell you who gives you some attention when you're a security guard. Somebody old enough to be your grandmother. That's who you're going to get. You know, some woman that's 300 pounds, 400 pounds, 500 pounds. That's who you're going to get paying attention to you. All the girls that put on too much lipstick, too much makeup, you know, they got fake ass, fake breasts because of plastic surgery. I made a video. Perhaps you've heard of it. It's called Sex with Barbie Part 2. Yeah, I've actually made a video called Sex with Barbie Part 2. I made Part 1 on my old channel, and then I made Part 2 on my revised version channel. You gotta check those videos out. They'll lay the smack down on some truth. And you see, self-improvement is not about being rich and famous. Self-improvement is about taking a look in the mirror and taking the worst parts about yourself and becoming a better version. You know, you got 7 to 8 categories that you have to self-improve in. You know, your money, your health and fitness, your physical health, your mental health. You know, self-improve at the gym, save money, spend less, you know, buy new clothes, buy new shoes, focus on your hygiene, go to the doctor, go to the dentist. That's what self-improvement is. It's a system to help you become better, not just so you can get laid. Self-improvement is that if you got an apartment, you might want to get a house in 5 to 10 years. If you're riding the bus or the train, you might want to get off the bus and the train and get a car, a truck, or a motorcycle. That is self-improvement. If you are fat and out of shape and you're 200 pounds, 300 pounds, 400 pounds, you might want to get a gym membership at 24 Hour Fitness, LA Fitness, or Planet Fitness. That's self-improvement. If you're terrible with women because you don't have no social skills, then you might want to go to the nightclubs and the bars and learn how to talk to make your social skills and critical thinking skills get better. That's self-improvement. If you don't have a job, you would go to a training program to get job certificates to be certified in a trade so you can seek employment. That is self-improvement. Self-improvement means to self-improve in 7 to 8 categories. 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, there is something you need to self-improve on. It ain't just so I can have sex with 2 girls, 3 girls, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 girls. It ain't just so I can have sex. Self-improvement is about going from an apartment to a house, going from the bus and the train to a car, going from being fat to being in athletic shape, going from having no job to having a job. That's what self-improvement is. And there is no timetable on self-improvement. You can self-improve yourself in 5 years. It could be 10 years. It could be 15 years. It could be 20 years. Hell, it could be 25 to 30 years later. There is no timetable on self-improvement. Self-improvement is a state of mind. Take the worst parts of yourself to become a better version. What you're already good at, you become great at. What you're bad at, you become good at. What you're good at, you become better at. That is the purpose of self-improvement. It doesn't require you to be rich and famous because you have a goal. You have expectations that you have set for yourself. Now, being rich and famous means you have already accomplished everything. You have already mastered everything, and there is nothing left for you to learn. Self-improvement is like you have to learn something. That's what self-improvement is. We can use a movie to explain self-improvement. Let's look at Man of Steel, right? Superman has all these powers, right? But he doesn't have no experience, and he's never fought his own race before in combat. Now, Zod has had thousands of years of combat experience, and Superman's never had a fight in his entire life, except for getting beat up by school bullies and pretending. And you see what challenge is in front of him. It's not until Batman versus Superman and Justice League that we even see him self-improve in skill and technique. Okay? Self-improvement is also about preparation. Who's a superhero that before they go out and fight, they have to learn their strengths and their weaknesses of themselves and their opponent? Batman, right? Before Batman can go out and fight a criminal, he has to learn his strength and his weaknesses. Well, that essentially is what self-improvement is. You got to learn your strengths and your weaknesses before you can go out and advance to the next level. When you graduate from junior high to high school to a junior college to college, that's self-improvement. If your grades are terrible and you're in high school or in college, and your teacher tells you you need to improve, there's a reason why that word comes up a lot. Because you have to self-improve. If you come to work and your boss say you're slacking off at work, there's a reason why they say you need to improve. If you're terrible with talking to customers like me in the very beginning of my development, then you're going to get told you need to improve your social communication skills. Guys who get rejected by beautiful, attractive women that are 8s, 9s, and 10s is because they don't have no social skills. So that provides a series of challenges. I also said that one of the rules of self-improvement is that the woman that you find physically, sexually attractive, 99.999% of the time, that woman is going to have sex with a lot of men. Why you're self-improving yourself. Women are not going to wait for you to go to a 24-hour fitness and wait for you to get 6 months or 9 months to turn into Arnold Schwarzenegger. When you first go to a gym, you're not going to walk in 300 pounds, 400 pounds, 500 pounds, and then walk out like Arnold. You're not going to be Mighty Thor. It's going to take you on average 5 to 10 years on average to build your physical body. Now, if you take some drugs and some shortcuts, again, it's still going to take you 5 to 10 years on average to build your body, even if you take drugs. And I'll probably make a summer video about is it okay or not okay to take performance enhancement drugs revisited. But we're talking about self-improvement versus fame. Now, while you're going to, the woman's not going to be waiting for you to go to the DMV or to driving school to learn how to drive, okay? When you go to driving school, about 90% of the time, you're going to be going to driving school by yourself. She's not going to be there supporting you to learn how to drive a car. She's going to be messing with a guy that already has a car. Matter of fact, she's going to be messing with 10 to 15 guys that already have a car. So while you go to driving school, don't be shocked or surprised that 90% of the time she's not there. You go to a 24-hour fitness, you go to LA Fitness, you go to Planet Fitness, don't be surprised that 90% of the time she's not at the gym. She's going to be at the gym with another guy, not with you. Don't be shocked or surprised that you got to go and get job training skills and get certified so your ass can get a job. She's not going to be waiting 6 months or 9 months or 2 years or 5 years for you to get employment, okay? She's going to go to the guy that already has employment. So 90% of the time you're going to be by yourself. And the good thing about being by yourself is that it makes you self-aware. Okay? And this is going to happen a lot. Now, being rich and famous, on the other hand, has its perks. So self-improvement has a lot of advantages. And yes, self-improvement does have some disadvantages. One of them is 90% of the time, you are going to be alone. That is a painful reality. You're going to wake up 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and you're going to go to sleep by yourself 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. There are going to be some days where you see a guy and a girl holding hands, whether it's at the park, at the beach, at the movie theater, and it's going to feel like that should be you over there. But you also have to remember that man put in the work. That man put in sacrifices. That's another thing about self-improvement. Sacrifices must be made. And there are going to be some painful sacrifices. There are going to be some days where you're going to have to leave the hamburger and the french fries alone if you're serious about getting a six-pack. There are going to be some days where you can't go to the nightclubs and the bars to go see the bitches and the hoes because you want to get a driver's license and a car and go to driving school. Got to make sacrifices. You want a job or a better job? Got to go get a certification. You can't go to the nightclub and the bars. You can't see the bitches and the hoes. Sacrifices must be made. That's what self-improvement is. Now that I already explained that part of it, let's get to the best part. Let's get to the bitches and the hoes. Because that's what y'all want to hear anyway, right? The bitches and the hoes. Now, the women always go after guys that are rich and famous. When women are from the age of 18 to 29, that is their sexual V market. That is their sexual prime. These women will go to house parties. These women will get invited to basketball games, football games, baseball games, the nightclubs, the bars. They get VIP. Now, I already made a YouTube video called Part 1 and Part 2 of the nightclub, and I already explained what happens in the nightclub for men and women. And a lot of sex takes place in the limousine. They get, women be real freaky in them limousines. And they do this for the athletes, the entertainers, the guys that are rich and famous. Now, what women don't realize is that a lot of these guys that are rich and famous, like Lil Wayne, like Drake, they are multimillionaires. These guys do sell 1 million copies worldwide. But here's the thing that women don't understand. People like a Lil Wayne and a Drake, they're not really entirely good guys. They're just rich and famous because they're good at one skill, one set, and that's it. What happens is, about 10 years of being a rapper, a lot of these guys go broke. You ever seen the stock market? Well, when these guys come out, they got money. This guy's making $100 million. This guy's making $200 million, $250 million. And women go after that type of guy. Now, he has that money for about 5 to 10 years on average. And your average rapper goes broke in 5 to 10 years. While you're self-improving yourself in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, that rapper has the IRS doing this. See my hand knocking? And IRS is saying, where's my money? And you got rappers like Lil Wayne, you got rappers like Drake, who constantly get told by the IRS, you owe us $250 million in back taxes. You better pay us our money before we come with the repossess man and repossess your house, repossess your car. We're going to take them chains off your neck. We're going to take them rings that you put on your finger that cost $100,000. And a lot of these rappers don't pay their bills. A lot of these rappers and rock stars and R&B singers, they don't refinance anything. A lot of these guys pay what they call entourages. And you got to pay 15, 20 men to protect you from danger, right? And why these rappers are rich for 10 years, you are self-improving yourself. You are creating value for yourself. A rapper, once it gets to 10 years, he's broke. Do you know the difference between a multi-millionaire and a broke rapper? A broke rapper is what it sounds like. He broke. He ain't got no money. And you see, he has to pay creditors. He has to pay the bank because he takes loans from the bank to go buy him an airplane that costs $50 million. Because even though he's a rapper, a rap artist, R&B singer, or a rock star, he's trying to buy a plane that costs $50 million. But the reality is he only makes $30,000, but he borrowed $50 million to buy a plane that costs $50 million. So now he owes 5 banks money. He owes the IRS and creditors money. So a lot of these rappers are not exactly rich and famous like people think they are. The girl believes it because the women watch too much television, too many movies, and too much social media. Men who are executive producers are the ones with all the money. Guys that are directors are the ones with all the money. You find this out if you're in my profession, because I've went to film school. I've took television. I've took film. I've took theater. I took acting. I've gone to professional meetings and met executive film producers. I have met directors who started their Hollywood careers, who some of these guys, their movies and television shows are on television. I've met them. I have a friend who is working at Universal Studios Hollywood who is now getting access to ties to television and film and might recruit me later in the near future. The point that I'm trying to make in the video is women go to those events, the VIP section. And when women get invited to basketball games, football games, baseball games, those women have sex in the VIP skybox. They have sex in the limousine. They have sex in the nightclub. They have sex on the airplane or on the helicopter, private airplane, because they're with these celebrities. And when these guys go broke and they lose all their money, well, by that time, the woman's hit the wall. The woman's 30, 31, 32, 33, all the way up to 40 years old. Now, because this guy's broke and he's not a multi-millionaire no more, and he owes 5 banks too much money, he owes the creditors and the IRS and the government too much money, now she has to go to the guys that she rejected in high school and college. Guys she told that were too short, they're fat, they're ugly, they're not good looking. Now she has to come to you because she assumed you should have some money because that's all she's thinking about is money. So it ain't really men that obsessed of fame and fortune. It's actually women who obsessed of fame and fortune. Now, some women are going to say not all women. Well, Matt Cross from the 33 Secrets on YouTube says all women. I'm not saying all women. I'm saying some or most think like that. They just don't want to admit that they want someone that's a billionaire or a millionaire. That's why you always hear them say it's 80% of women chasing 20% and ignoring 80% of those men. And then it forces a guy who's not trying to be rich and famous to make the attempt. Remember when 50 Cent made that rap song a decade and a half ago called Get Rich or Die Trying? Now you're forced to do that association because women won't accept you as you are. Self-improvement shows you how to accept you as you are, but how to also build yourself as you are. And you see, by the end of the day, self-improvement wins out fame and fortune. Because you can be rich and famous today, and then 5 years from now, nobody knows who you are. 10 years from now, nobody knows who you are. Being rich and famous has a time limit. Why do you think they always say it's 15 minutes of fame? Because it only lasts for 15 minutes. A basketball player who wins 3 championships now will not be known 10 years from now. A rapper who makes 100 million, 250 million like a Lil Wayne or a Drake, 10 years from now, you'll know Lil Wayne, you'll know Drake, but there'll be someone else on that same level making more money than them. 10 years ago, everybody was nodding their head to 50 Cent in the game. Now today, you ask people about 50 Cent in the game, they go, he's alright, he's okay. It's all about Drake. That's all you're going to hear all day, every day. It's all about Drake. It's all about Drake. It's all about the flamingos. Except for one problem. Pretty soon, it ain't going to be about the flamingos or Drake. Pretty soon, it's going to be some new rap artist that you've never seen, never heard of, pop out of nowhere, make $250 million, sell over 100 million copies, and then the girls are going to come to that guy, throw their panties on stage, you name it, women select themselves out for these men. And these same women who do that, they don't dress whore or slutty for nice guys or good guys. They don't do it for the security guard. They don't do it for the UPS man or the FedEx man. They don't do it for the mailman. They don't do it for the guy who's in college trying to graduate to become a lawyer or a doctor. Now, when he does become a doctor, he gets girls that dress slutty. When he becomes a lawyer, he gets girls that dress slutty. But when he's trying to become a lawyer, when he's going to law school, when he's going to doctor school, those women are not finding those men physically, sexually attractive. If the women can't get men that are rich and famous, she'll do it for the police officers, the firefighters. She'll dress slutty for them. If she goes to the gym and she sees a bodybuilder or a personal trainer, she'll dress slutty and skanky for those guys. Because she finds those men rich and famous. She finds them physically, sexually attractive. Problem is when she gets 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, by the time she hit 40 years old, now she goes to the guys that she rejected 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. Extreme cases 25 to 30 years ago. And then that's when you men find out through the power of self-improvement, you find out how full of shit women are. Most women, whether they like it or not, are full of shit. Because they talk a strong, good game, but then when they get older and their looks are faded and they're not as physically, sexually attractive as they once was, they start going, I remember you from high school and college. When women have to promote themselves to you, that lets you know right there she made a big mistake. Anytime a woman open her mouth and say, do you remember me? Translation, she fucked up. Because if she was the shit, the last time I checked, the shit don't go back to guys that they reject. And the reason why they do that is because they have an expiration date. They have a time limit. The wall and being famous are both synonymous. If you're rich and famous, your fame only lasts for 15 minutes. If you're a beautiful, attractive woman, you only get about 10 to maybe 15 years to be in the spotlight, and then you're done. Same thing with being a supermodel. Why do you think most women, when they're a supermodel, they start at 15, 16, 17, 18 years old as a supermodel, and then by the time they're 24, 25, their career is over? Because there is a time limit on everything. Everything has an expiration date. Milk, right? If you drink milk, it's good for 3 weeks. Once the milk smells and it's funny looking, it's expired. Pizza. You can only keep pizza in the refrigerator for about 2 weeks, and then it starts to go terribly bad. You can't drink or eat nothing that is spoiled rotten. Everything has an expiration date. Fame, it has an expiration date. These guys are rich and famous today, but tomorrow these guys will be